I really do think what I have to say is maybe the most important thing I'm ever going to say in my career. So if you want to take out your cameras and record it, please feel free. If you think it's garbage, delete it. If you think it's good, save it, share it, give it to other people, send it to people you don't like. But, you know, it's such a weird feeling to be in the last 10 minutes of your career. It's the most bizarre thing. And so I've been thinking about how do you end a career, and I thought that the best way to end the career would be to share my thoughts on engineering. And some of this I've already shared during the semester, but this is my thoughts, my most profound thoughts on engineering, okay? I think we should start by asking ourselves, why are we here? Not why are we here as human beings, but why are we at USD? And you're all here to become engineers, right? I mean, that's your goal. But are you here to learn the math, to learn how to use an oscilloscope? I mean, all of this stuff can be done faster, better by computers, by equipment. Most of what you learn in engineering, you're never, ever going to use. So again, it begs the question, why are we here? Well, you're here for one reason, and that is to learn to think like engineers. That's the whole purpose of your time at USD. Everything else is an exercise along the way. So the other thing I like to think about is I like to think about when I was you. When I was in the college classroom, and at that point, I didn't really think much about my future. I knew I had one, but I didn't give it a lot of thought. I always like to advise college students to recognize that their greatest responsibility at this point in time is to future you. I mean, somewhere in the future is a version of you that's 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, probably some crotchety, annoying old person. Yep, in you, waiting to come out. And the point that I want to make about this, though, is that the most important thing right now is to make good decisions for future you. Because someday future you is me. And when I reflect back on the decisions I made, it's a terrible thing to ask 20-year-olds to make decisions for a 60-year-old. And to make decisions that'll make that 60-year-old happy. But let me tell you, if you piss off that 60-year-old, he will never forgive you. Bad choices that you make now will haunt future you forever. So please, think about that. But someday you will be me, as terrifying as that sounds. You'll be 10 minutes away from the end of your career, and everything you will have done professionally will be cut in stone. The good that you've done, the bad that you've done. We talked in this class so much about injury and about death, and you know, like it or not, if you're an engineer, part of your future is going to be doing good for as many people as you can, and if you're not careful, it's going to be doing some things that are going to hurt or even kill people. Whole purpose of our semester. We are engineers. We live our lives to continue what is a living tradition of advancing technology. And I started thinking to myself, what really are engineers? And in the most egotistical way, I was going to say that engineers are gods on earth. And I thought maybe that's a little over the top. But you know what we really are? We are the hands of God. Not egotistical at all, right? But it really is the truth. I mean, if you think about it, we can move mountains. No one moves a mountain without the fingerprints of an engineer on it. We can bend steel. Takes engineering to make steel, takes it to bend steel. We can move the course of mighty rivers. Yeah, I stole from Superman, I know. We can leap tall buildings, or at least we can build the technology to do it. We can build the technology to build those buildings. No surgical procedure that saves lives is ever completed without the fingerprints of an engineer on that surgical procedure. Matter of fact, if you think about the concept of living life, even for 5 minutes without engineering, damn near impossible. You find yourself sitting naked on a hillside, but you have to find a hill that hasn't been altered by engineering. We have godlike powers, let's face it. And with great powers comes great responsibility. And I've said this in the class before, bad engineers kill people, good engineers kill a lot of people. If you're a bad engineer, you're going to do something, someone's going to get hurt. But if you're a great engineer, you're going to do something and it's going to influence society. You'll build the best damn car, you'll build the best damn piece of technology, everybody will want one, and like it or not, and yeah, I know about the don't be a dumbass thing because I taught that, but like it or not, people will die even from good technology. And this is the kind of thing that we must always consider. You can't control who lives, but you have an immense control over who may die. And that should be a cornerstone of the philosophy you develop as an engineer. Every choice you make as an engineer comes with great responsibilities over life and death. You know, it's the damnedest thing to sit in there, to stand in the classroom and lecture to young people, because you lecture the young people and you see enthusiasm, you see optimism, you see this incredible view of the future. And then what do? I go home and I look at dead, burnt bodies. And it's the other side of the coin. It's the picture of what happens when engineers do something wrong. And they're the same engineers that you are. Young, optimistic, they got out there, and at some point they made a mistake, and they may not even know that they made that mistake. We talked about the telephone pole in the woods, I think. You know, you put a telephone pole in the woods, 100 years later, that telephone pole is still standing there, but now there's buildings around it. The person who put that pole there didn't look into the future. They did their job, they went home, they lived their life, and then they retired, they died, they did all kinds of wonderful things. But their single bad choice, a moment of wrong decision, caused a young person to die for no other reason than that pole was either in the wrong place, wasn't high enough. A better choice, knowing the prospect for development, would have saved a life. We're bound to the responsibility to look at that which is foreseeable. And that which is foreseeable, if you look at it, if you process it, if you make it, again, a cornerstone of the way you practice engineering, you might save you might save somebody's life. And that's the most important thing when you think about good engineering practices, is you want to do what you can to save lives. It's not just about good engineering or about making money. It's about knowing that you've done the best for everybody. You can't prevent all injuries, we know that, and you can't prevent all deaths, but you can control the probabilities. As the hands of God on earth, you feel powerful, but you are. I mean, think about the power you have. You have an immense power, and all of you are going to go out and wield that power. You have to always look into the future when making decisions in the present. Always consider whose lives your choices will impact. And if you really want to do it right, imagine that those lives are the lives of your loved ones. When Ford made the decision to pay off the relatives of dead people burnt in their cars, I'm sure they weren't thinking, wow, that could be my son, my daughter, my wife, my parent. They were thinking, it's $15 a car to save that life versus hundreds of millions of dollars in profit, because that's what it was, to let those people die. And I mean, we talked about cost-benefit analysis. Obviously, some things are beyond your control. The one thing that I think is so important is to be ethical to a fault. I recognized that you can't give in to people who are encouraging you to be unethical. Be honest to a fault. You can't ever really, you can't lie to if you lie to everybody else, never lie to yourself. Make choices that let you sleep at night. If you find that you're not sleeping soundly and you're lying awake wondering if that was the right choice, it probably wasn't. There's this old adage when you sail that says, when you think it's time to reef, it's too late. If there's any sailors in the room, you understand that, but it's usually related to when bad weather is coming in your direction. And about the time that you're watching things washing off the deck of the boat, you're going, wow, I should have reefed my sail. Engineering is the same way. If you're starting to wonder about the rightfulness of something you're doing, it's time to make a decision, not wait until someone is injured. Always think like an engineer, but always think like an engineer who will someday only have 10 minutes left in their career to own everything that they have done. You can't undo the mistakes you've made. You can't bring back a life. You can't take away or replace a lost limb or a burnt body. And whether you know about it or not, and that's the one thing about engineering, is so often, most of the time, the engineers who screwed up never know about the harm they've caused. In the back of your mind, you'll know about the harm you've caused because you'll know you made the wrong choice. You can't change the past. So I talk to you as present you. When you become me, horrifying as that is, and you will, if you can spend the last 10 minutes of your career being proud, then you have done right by future you. And the only way you get there is by making those choices today, knowing that someday future you is going to be 10 minutes from the end of their career. So on that, I wish you all success, happiness, and an impact on the world that helps many, hurts few, and that you have many, many, many nights of sound sleep. And when you get to the last 10 minutes of your career, you can look back and do so with great pride, and know that while there may have been people who were hurt by products that you put out there, that you did everything to minimize that number. And I thank you very much. And if you recorded that and don't want to delete it minutes after class, I urge you to save that video and look at it when you're 10 minutes from the end of your career and ask yourself, did you do those things?